Good to be here. Like Britta already introduced us, I'm Jasmin Vogel, and besides being the local marketing manager at the Dortmunder U, one of my main roles is also to reach out to new audiences and to engage them with our culture program online as well as on-site. But this means basically I'm working with our local communities in Dortmund, and this means in the end it's about relationship building and relationship management. As a result, I kind of feel sometimes that we cannot find success by measuring the same old outcomes we always have been done. So success in this case is not just a numbers game, so how many people are visiting us, how many tickets are we selling. So my main question is, how can we find new ways of measuring this?
Absolutely. So I'm Abhay Adhikari, and my job is unfortunately described by a lot of buzzwords like engagement, innovation, and storytelling. But for the past 3 years, I've been leading a project in the city of Leeds. It's called the Urban Sustainable Development Lab. This project is as much about communities as it's about digital. And although I come from a very different background as Jasmin, I too believe that when you are working with digital and communities, we have to stop quantifying success by numbers, visitors, ticket sales, and so on. And we really have to have a radical rethink in what is a successful outcome if you're working with communities. But there's a problem here, because as you can guess by introduction, of course, we want to change the definition of success. But when you move away from things that you can count and report sometimes to senior management and tick all the boxes, the situation starts to get really muddy. What else can we measure as a successful outcome? And as Barbara has also demonstrated, and as Jasmin's demonstrated, why should we care about relationship building if we can't measure it? So what do you think about that?
Well, I think maybe we should stop thinking for a moment, thinking in measurements and thinking in goals, thinking about goals instead. Let me explain you why I feel that traditional goals are not enough anymore. Many institutions, as like the ZKM, are impressive buildings. People know them and they're identifying these buildings and identifying themselves with those buildings. It's the same with the U, where I come from in Dortmund. It's right in the city center at the train station. Everyone that arrives or leaves Dortmund sees this building and connects with it. So this means we have a unique place we occupy in people's imaginations and their minds. And this means we mean different things to different people. Regarding us, the other way around, this also means how can we present these different perspectives at our place? And this may sound like an ideological goal, but I think why not? We need new benchmarks for success.
I agree. So if you want to redefine success, we're making that case. It's okay to have ideological goals. You only have to look at the world around you, where a bunch of idiots who have learned how to use social media to manipulate communities have started from a place of ideology, and they've polarized the world into extreme right, extreme left. You have fake news, you have trolling, etc. So we can't pretend that ideological goals don't have an impact on communities. They do. But at the same time, the positive side is the cultural sector by default is coming from a space which is rich and full of ideological goals. But then, the challenge for all of us, and I guess this is our provocation, is you can have ideological goals. I think everyone in this room wants to change the world. But then how do you go about achieving that goal? Is it a case of just talking the talk and then keeping your fingers crossed that someone will do something amazing? Or is it just trying to create disruption because you can? And we spent a lot of time this afternoon talking about disruption. The answer is no. If you have an ideological goal, what we suggest is someone, maybe you guys, all of us, have to put in the hard work, the time and energy to figure out all of those annoying steps that will get you to the end goal. There's another point if you're trying to redefine success when it comes to goals, which Jasmin is going to talk about.
Well, I think good goals focus on people. I started this talk by mentioning my goal of mediating the relationship between the U and the local citizen. And I would like to explain my inspiration behind it. When I started in 2012 at the U, we had the situation that in my feeling there was a big divide between us as an institution and between them, the local citizens. And as a result, we decided to do kind of a summer tour through all the markets and to go to the hard-reached communities. And one day I met a young woman with small children, and she has never been to the U, and I asked her to visit us the next family day, which was the next day on Sunday. And she came, I was there, we had a nice chat. And one thing stuck with me. She said it was an act of bravery to come. And this is something that really was stunning for me, because like visiting my place or in museums in general, I think you think of curiosity, people are interested in art, they want to learn something. But to realize that it can be an act of bravery was really something kind of a wow moment for myself. And I realized, yes, and it is an act of bravery, because basically it was brave. We have a very alien space sometimes, and it can be bizarre, because there are certain rules of behavior which you can't see, they are invisible. And you need some decoding capacity, and if you don't have this capacity, you're lost. So I thought, okay, then we need new goals, and I need a new goal for myself. And this is, how can I break down these barriers that people like this woman can feel comfortable within this place, our place, basically.
I think that's a good example of having an ideological goal, which also has an impact on one person, individuals, and communities. But then the bigger challenge is who delivers these goals. So I know you won't mind when I say delivering on this goal is exclusively not your job. It's not one department's job as well. I think if you want to create innovation and new models of success, it's a case for the organization as a whole to move forward. But this is very often, if you're very honest, the biggest stumbling block. Because we are so used to working in siloed ways, and having led a couple of innovation projects, I've noticed that the biggest act of disruption sometimes is just a colleague from one department asking a colleague from another department, hey, can you help me? And the whole system crashes. So we make another suggestion for you, if you want to redefine what success looks like, is if you are leading this project, as both of us sometimes do, I need to know where I want to be. I need to know where the institution wants to be, but I also need to know where my colleagues need to be. And it's a case of meeting them halfway. So you've guessed we're probably talking about empathy, which is a superpower.
Well, and I think it's a superpower we all need, because it allows us to anticipate. And this is, I think, in the times we're living, very important to anticipate to the change of society. So if you are leading a project in an organization, maybe you sometimes feel, okay, this is too much for myself, but you're not alone with this. Because you may be the author of the story, you don't have to be the hero. So why not setting the stage and other helping you delivering these projects and let them be the hero of your story?
So if all of you were hoping we'd give you an alternative definition for success, I'm sorry we don't have one. But what we'd like to leave you with is this idea that success is a process. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. What we encourage you to do is please go and have those ideological goals, but then think about realizing them through small steps, or what we call experiments.
Well, and maybe to wrap it up, take it simple and be realistic. That's what experiments are, and that's what prototyping are. Be brave and bend the rules. They can take it. The rules can take it, your audience can take it, and your colleagues can take it, and nothing can happen. Nobody's dying. If you break a little rule, everything will be fine. Just go for it. Collaborate, find your tribe, find like-minded people, set them a stage, let them be heroes, and think big, act small, fail fast, and learn. And thanks, Jussi, for the sentence. I got this from the first steering group meeting.
Thank you, guys. You're very welcome to come and talk to us afterwards. Thank you.